I recently spoke at Hot 97 in New York City. And I made a statement talking about my record, Pitch Bad. Can't cuss because it's Ramadan, so I apologize. I can't say the title of my song. But I spoke about my record, Pitch Bad, and you know, what was the point of the record? And I said, well, you know, I say it. I have a disclaimer within the song that says the song is not a lesson. I'm not trying to teach you a lesson. I'm not qualified to teach. I'm not a teacher. I'm merely putting it out for conversation. And then I said, because you know, I feel that you know, music is what teaches us. And he said, well, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? I said, well, you know, when I was a little kid, I used to mistrust women deeply. I was just 7, 8 years old. And I was, you know, cognitive of that. I was present and I understood it as it was happening. And I don't really trust women. And I think, like, why don't I trust women? You know, I didn't come out thinking that. I love my mother, I love my sister. I trust them wholeheartedly. They cook my food. I think that they were poisoned. But you know, my father didn't tell me this. My peers didn't tell me this. My friends in kindergarten didn't tell me this. Where did I learn this from? And I said, aha, Ice Cube. And he said, Ice Cube? What? Ice Cube? Like, yeah, I learned it from Ice Cube. And so, sure enough, a few days go by, Ice Cube is at Hot 97. And they say, yo, Ice Cube, you know, we just had Lupe here. And Lupe said that, you know, you taught him, you know, that he shouldn't trust women. And Ice Cube said, oh, that's crazy, man, because I ain't got a problem with women. I got a problem with bitches. And now this is me looking at it on my iPhone. I was like, whoa. Yeah, I know, because I had a problem with bitches too. That's what I was saying. And you know, Ice Cube, you could tell that Ice Cube was a little thrown back. Ice Cube's a good guy. You know, I've met him many times. He's a beautiful brother. Does beautiful things. And you could tell that he was taken aback by it. And you know, with all sincerity, you know, he said, you know what, you know, well, maybe he should have read the sticker, parental advisory sticker, you know. And it was like, well, you know, the funky part, and this adds into it. My parents were the one who was playing it. My father loved NWA. In addition to, you know, Public Enemy and Queen, Rabbi Shankar, you know, all these other myriad of things he always listened to. He listened to everything. He played the bagpipes, and he listened to NWA. The reason he listened to NWA was to make the white people mad at his job. I was just an innocent bystander in that battle. But you know, I learned not to trust women. So that's me, Lupe, with all of the counter forces and counterbalances that within my daily life. You know, being Muslim, the poster of Malcolm X on the wall, the National Geographic collection, the bust of the Sphinx in Egypt I used to play with as a child, the Kung Fu movie, the WTTW, our public broadcasting station, Mr. Rogers. You know, in the midst of all of this, I still learned somehow that message from Ice Cube, don't trust women, was embedded inside of me. So imagine as me. Now imagine there's a kid, children, generation, who don't have those counterbalances because they don't exist, because they're not there. And all they get is a steady diet of God forgive, I don't. So when I make that statement, that there are things within this business, things within this structure, which these economic incentives, because it will make you rich, it will make you famous, it will not make you powerful though. It's one thing that they were very smart about doing. I don't care how rich you think we rappers are, or how rich you think your favorite rapper is, how many private jets he has, he's not powerful at all.
Say that.
The only thing that he has is the power of influence. These aren't my words. These are the words of the owner of Sister Magazine in a candid conversation that we had in Atlanta. None of these dudes got power. They think they got power. They have no power. They have the power to influence. They don't have real power. So they don't have real power. So even the economic incentive is just for that, it's for show. But things within this industry which are not conducive to the survival of a generation, of a race of people. Yeah? So, this is where we are now. I wish it was not so. I made the statement that I think substantially, substantively, 97% of hip-hop is terrible when it comes to substance. Technically, it's brilliant. The videos are as beautiful as they ever been. The album packaging is creative as it's ever been. The lyrics are as witty and as clever and as poetic as they've ever been. We're making more money than we've ever had before. The Fat Boys have had their satisfaction via the Jay-Z, and all is well, technically. But when it comes to the real thing, to the substance, we are at a moment of crisis. 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 I say that wholeheartedly, and I say that meaningfully. And it is backed up by those panelists on that radio show who said that the main factors behind the, let's call it extermination, the self-extermination of the most impressionable, and at the same time, let's be biological about it, the most reproductively savvy, of our youth are killing themselves in the streets due to three main factors: aggression, sexuality, and materialism. If you turn on the radio, and you might as well, we can all admit, I'm sure my brother will admit as he comes up next, it's all aggression, it's all sexuality, and it's all materialism. So the connections exist, the ideas behind my brother saying the programming exists. I am here to tell you that it exists. I do my best to bring a certain balance, the balance that I spoke of before, to have a certain, to create, even in my, how we say, even in my most obtuse moments, even in my most controversial moments, it is to get you to think. Because if you do not start thinking, you don't start thinking critically, not just going on with the laissez-faire. The American dream was never meant to be your dream. American patriotism was never meant for you. It was built hundreds of years ago when you were still a slave. The ideals of this country, the ideals of the infrastructure of this country, the industries of this country did not have you in mind whatsoever. So you must criticize them thoroughly, even more so, because you were not meant to have them in the first place.